JOHANNIS Blackman, born 1450 in Kent, England. It is unknown how many siblings he had. He married MARYANN WRLIXBY. Her birth date and birthplace are unknown, but with that tongue twister of a surname, she could be Welsh. Together, they had at least one child, according to available records. In Europe, the 15th century is seen as the bridge between the late Middle Ages, the early Renaissance, and the early modern period. Many technological, social, and cultural developments can, in retrospect, be seen as heralding the European miracle of the following centuries. Constantinople, known as the capital of the world and the capital of the Byzantine Empire, today's Turkey, falls to the emerging Muslim Ottoman Turks, marking the end of the tremendously influential Byzantine Empire, and for some historians, the end of the Middle Ages. This led to the migration of Greek scholars and texts to Italy, while Johann Gutenberg's invention of the mechanical movable type began the printing press. These two events played key roles in the development of the Renaissance. The Roman papacy was split in two parts in Europe for decades, the so-called Western Schism, until the Council of Constance, when the division of the Catholic Church and the unrest associated with the Hussite movement would become factors in the rise of the Protestant Reformation in the following century. Islamic Spain became dissolved through the Christian Reconquista, followed by the forced conversions and the Muslim rebellion, ending over 7 centuries of Islamic rule and returning Spain, Portugal, and southern France back to Christian rulers. The 100 Years' War ended with the decisive French victory over the English in the Battle of Castillon. Financial troubles in England following the conflict results in the Wars of the Roses, a series of dynastic wars for the throne of England. The conflicts end with the defeat of Richard III by Henry VII at the Battle of Bosworth Field, establishing the Tudor dynasty in the latter part of the century. In 1453, when Johannes is only 3, the Battle of Castillon was fought in Gascony near the town of Castillon-sur-Dordogne between England and France. It was a decisive French victory. On the day of the battle, English commander John Talbot, the first Earl of Shrewsbury, led his army into a fortified French encampment without waiting for reinforcements, believing that the enemy was retreating. Talbot then refused to withdraw, even after realizing the strength of the French position, causing his men to suffer extensive casualties from the French artillery. Castillon is considered the first major battle won through the extensive use of field artillery. The battle resulted in the English loss of almost all its holdings in France, especially Gascony, also known as Aquitaine, an English possession for 3 centuries. There was a shift in the balance of power in Europe and political instability in England. It's 1470. Somewhere around this time, Johannes marries MARYANN. Their first child, Johann, is born later that year. Johannes is 20. It's 1485. His father passes away. 1492. Christopher Columbus discovers the New World. Thinking he found India like he sought, he calls the natives Indians. For some reason, the name sticks. Columbus's discovery of the Americas would shape the world for centuries to come. Around 1535, Johannes passes away around the age of 85 in his homeland.